wrong. Oh, let me tell you, baby, now I felt the lips are wrong. Well, I've been drinking real fast, told me not to get wrong. Yes, I've been drinking real fast, and the thoughts talking wrong. What a waste. Now let me tell you, baby, I felt the lips are wrong. There's some samba, man. All right. Well, I've been drinking real fast. They told me not to get drunk. It's too late. Well, I've been drinking real fast. Somebody told me I have some fun, you know. Oh, let me tell you, baby, now I feel the lips are wrong. Oh, mama, boogie. Well, I've been drinking real fast. They told me not to get drunk. Well, I've been drinking real fast. It seems we run out of rum. Oh, let me tell you, baby, now I feel the lips are wrong. Uh-huh. What am I doing here? Come on, give me a drink. Get some more rum. Come on. I'm telling you. Give me some more drink. Please.
Hey there, what's up? Okay, music's off. Okay, time for some tactics. Let's see. Learn puzzles. Yeah, puzzles. Let me see. I think you see the board properly. Yes. Yeah, more or less. Okay. Yeah, I'm all set. So let's start doing some tactics. Our rating is 2300. Last session was okay. But we're far away from our goal. Okay, let's see, what do we have here? We have a position where we are a pawn down, I think, but we have a strong attack. Most pieces are already doing something, contributing to the attack. Maybe even this knight can jump. Oops. Oops. Jump to d5 at some point, maybe even now, because we have a really annoying pin here. The bishop can't be taking this pawn h6 spin, so yeah, knight d5 is definitely one move I would consider first. Another move I would consider is bishop h6, because after takes I have this knight g5 check. But then after king g7, I don't have interesting checks. Maybe then I have knight takes f7, but he just takes it, so yeah. Okay, definitely bishop takes h6 is another idea to consider. Not sure if that works. Let me go deep into the knight d5 idea now for a second. Knight d5 threatens to take a piece on e7, so either he defends it, but it's not easy. Like, for example, rook e8, bishop take, no. Okay, maybe it's easy. Rook e8. Knight f6 check. Yeah, rook e8, knight f6 check might be a problem for black. Because if he takes on f6, I have queen takes h6, king g8, bishop takes f6, and there's no way to defend the checkmate. Okay, so knight f6 check is a strong threat. Good. So if rook e8 doesn't work, then f6 is the only other option. But then I also think we go knight takes f6, because now our bishop is gonna cut g8, so it's gonna be even stronger, I guess. He can't take with the bishop for that reason, because we would checkmate on h6. So rook takes, bishop takes, and we're ahead on material. If g5, we have bishop takes g5. Yeah, I think this wins a full exchange, a very clear exchange, so let's go for it. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Full exchange up here. Good. Good. Let's continue. I'm a little bit slow yet, or still, so let's grab some more coffee. Similar position. We have queen very close to the king, and we would love to make this check work, but the problem is it doesn't. Now, first move I would consider is rook takes knight, since he can take a rook because of knight f5. And rook, I mean, material is equal, so, well, we're up on, no, we're not up on down, the material is totally equal this time. So rook takes knight seems a free piece. If he takes our queens, we take, and we're a piece up. If he takes a rook, we win the queen. So it seems like a free piece, unless white has some special resource. Rook takes h7. I think we can even consider taking the queen there, because I don't exactly see a checkmate against us. But worst case scenario, we just take the rook first. Yeah, that has to beat. That has to beat. Yeah, piece up. Okay, not so difficult, this one. Good. This is how I want to start the tactics sessions. Okay, now I'm really tempted to do queen takes g3 check. But this time I think it won't work. This is not like the previous puzzle, because we would give up queen for a piece and then we would take the queen for a piece. And in the initial position I can see we're material down, we're a piece down. So instead of that, I might consider some other moves like rook e2. Hey, hi Chips. Nice to hear that. Yeah, I think maybe they are the ones where I connect more with the audience, especially in those passes where I spend more than 20 minutes. Okay, so queen takes knight doesn't work because it's just a trade. It's just a trade, and we're a piece down. So what about rook e2? The problem with rook e2 is it doesn't threaten. Oh yeah, it does threaten mate. I thought it wouldn't be forced, but it is forced. Rook g2, rook takes h2, importantly. Then queen takes h3, queen g2. It's a forced mate sequence, what we are threatening. So we threaten mate. There's no time for, I don't know, rook a e1, for example. There's no time for that. What does white do? Of course, if white takes the rook, that's an option. We would take a piece and the queen for a piece and the rook. So we would win a queen for a rook. We're a piece down already, so it's going to be almost there, but I think we have plenty of pawns, and because of the king safety, our queen should be good against the remaining pieces. So yeah, I guess that should be winning. So if he can't take a rook, what can he do? Rook f2, we probably take on h3 with the knight and win a free rook. I consider white might have some ideas, like knight f5 and sacrifice on g7 to weaken f6, but f6, first of all, it's defended also by the queen. And secondly, I don't see how white has time for going there, because we're threatening mate here, so knight f5 is not an option here. Okay, I think I'm gonna do it because I don't see any defense for white. I might be missing something. I mean, there's no way for white to defend the second rank, so yeah, let's go there. Okay, and white goes for this. And yeah, of course you have to assess this position because white has bishop and rook for queen, but I think his king is more exposed. I think the position is far from clear. I understand, I have the feeling we have the advantage. We're gonna take a pawn. Let me put some moves on the board. We take this pawn, he attacks. Oh, he cannot attack, that's good. That's good news, because this pawn here, so he has to go the slow way, and we have time to bring a rook. Something like this might happen. This is a threat. I guess we just go here or something. What about rook f2? Ah, yeah, we were there. I think knight h3 was good enough. Let's go back to the initial position. Yeah, here rook f2. I think we just check here and take a free rook. And also we're gonna take it with check. If king here, we can take with the knight, probably with the rook, also threatening some mates. And yeah, the other two we would take with the rook with check. Okay, good. Let's continue. Three correct puzzles to start the session. This is good. Rook takes f8. So first question is, why not taking that rook? What's the material count? If we take that rook, we're 2 bishops up, so 2 pieces up. So first question would be, why don't we just take the rook? What's White's idea? Okay, White is very desperate, 2 pieces down. So I guess the idea is to play rook f6, going for some checkmates. Now, my gut feeling tells me that as long as e6 is defended, it's not going to be very dangerous to just go back and after any piece take on g6, let's say queen or rook, yeah, anyone, we just block on g7. For example, queen takes, I probably block with the rook. And if rook takes, I probably block with the bishop. And we're 2 pieces up there. On the other hand, I don't see any other useful move but taking the rook here. I mean, our pieces are all behind the pawns. I have no checks possibilities. I have no good blocking possibilities to win up the rook, you know, for free. Yeah, let's just take it. I guess the puzzle will continue. Yeah, so here is where I thought king g8 would be interesting. On the other hand, I don't have much of a choice. I mean, if I want to avoid the checks, I hang the bishop. So yeah, king g8 seems only move to me. Let's go there. And I failed the puzzle. 16 points. Oh boy. Yeah, it looked obvious, that's the problem. When something looks obvious, there's 2 options. 1, it is obvious. 2, you're missing something. And yeah, I guess it's the second one here. We were missing something. Because we're 2 pieces up, maybe we still need to give one of them, like king h8, check, king h7, and then defend g6. So maybe it's really necessary to defend g6. I don't know why, but I don't know why, but maybe there was a problem with king g8 that I didn't foresee. Okay, so I guess against king g8 the most annoying move would be queen takes g6 check. That hits also e6. But after rook g7, queen f7 check. No, the rook is defending f7. What am I saying? What's the problem after rook g7? There's no rook takes bishop. Queen takes h6. Queen takes h6. Is that a problem? Okay, I guess I'll analyze that line after we solve the puzzle. I was trying to understand it because that might give a clue about the right move here. So I'm gonna try the other. I'm gonna try this. Okay, that's not working. What else? King h7 there. Wow, this is strange. Okay, I see another move that didn't come to my head earlier, but it's a really strange move because it undefends the e6 pawn. Huh. Yeah, but what it does is it defends the bishop, so that after queen takes g6, king h8, white has nothing, so to speak. No way to proceed with the attack. Rook f7, we just trade. There's no rook takes bishop, and the bishop is defending h6, so there's no clear way to make progress for white. And if white just takes the pawn, I guess we just continue solidifying our position, and we're 2 pieces up for a couple of pawns. But black is also okay after king g8. I guess not. Let's have a look, because if we got it wrong, I guess there's a problem with king g8. What can the problem be? I thought queen takes g6 was the problem, but maybe rook takes g6. Okay, queen takes. I was going to block with the rook because I see how this might go wrong, allowing this check. I see that this this is dangerous because we can't go back now, and after king h7 he takes here, he has check here and check on e8 next with the rook. This is really dangerous. But if we block with the rook, what's the problem? What's the deal? Hey Mary, what's up? Okay, rook takes bishop doesn't work, I think. so white, maybe this is the slow idea. No, rook takes e6, I just take the queen there. Sorry, let me go back to the position. Yeah, rook takes e6, I just take the queen. That cannot be it. Oh, queen e8. Oh, queen e8. Oh, queen e8 was the problem. Okay, okay. And as good as it seems, this rook here, with all these pieces around here, we have no counterplay at all. And we're gonna lose this, and it's gonna be painful. The threat is basically rook takes bishop, check, rook h8, mate, and very hard to stop. Rook f7 is not possible, so and we don't have moves to defend the bishop. It would be nice to play queen b4, for example, here, or queen e7. Huh. Yeah, this is a problem. Queen e8. Okay, we missed this. It seemed okay, but it wasn't. So queen d8. Sorry, after rook f6. Yeah, queen d8. No wonder this puzzle was hard. Well, its rating is 2200. It's not so high, but we lost 16 points. No. So this session so far, +4, +3, +4, -16. So -5 for the moment. Okay, let's continue. Snap your keyboard in half. No, it's not a cheap keyboard. I'm not going to do that. Okay, long castle for white. I sort of like black's position, but how to continue? It's not so easy. I mean, yeah, this doesn't feel right. Queen g5. I missed queen g5. Okay, queen g5 is a good idea. So I guess yeah, but it's not quite. Is it working? I missed that fork. So we need to do it immediately. We can't take the knight first. So queen g5. Let's say knight takes g5, bishop takes e2, f5 takes e4, then queen g5. says Sumit. Okay, that's another idea, but I guess after pawn takes, he can take with the queen, and there's no more queen g5. But it would be interesting because if he doesn't take with the queen, oh, there is bishop f3 there. So pawn takes, queen takes, bishop takes, and then there's queen g5. But after pawn takes, we have to go queen g5 at that point. So what's the purpose of opening the f file? What's the improvement versus doing queen g5 immediately? Hey Satko, what's up? Yeah, I think I like Mary's line more. It's more forcing. It's more forcing, right? Bishop takes f3 to start with. Then he has to take with the queen to defend the bishop. Then pawn takes pawn. Then the queen can't take the pawn. I mean, he loses the bishop. On the other hand, the queen is attacked. So I guess best move for him would be something like queen g4. And when I say something, is I don't see any other move. And then we just take another pawn, maybe bishop check and pawn takes pawn. Yeah. So it's forcing, but it's taking 2 pawns. I prefer taking a piece than taking 2 pawns. So what's the material count? We're equal here. Okay, so if we take 2 pawns, it is good. Quite interesting. I guess I need to calculate a little. Because there's plenty of options here, all related to the queen g5 idea. So if we start with queen g5, knight takes, bishop takes, I guess rook e1, I have to consider a lot of options there. But I'm not sure how they work, because we just traded queens, and I don't have anything attacked. I mean, I have the bishop e3 check idea, but the problem is after rook e1, bishop e3 leads to another trade, and I don't win anything. Stillen, thanks for the follow. So I guess queen g5 immediately doesn't quite work. If I start with pawn takes, and he takes with the pawn, then queen g5 check, it's more or less the same, I think. Nothing changes. So if I start with the pawn takes, is bishop takes knight a move? Okay, I like that. Bishop takes knight. If he takes our queen, we take his queen and we won a piece. If he takes our knight, we go queen g5 check, we won a piece. So maybe this move order makes sense. Pawn takes, if he takes with the pawn, we take on f3. If he takes with the queen, we take on f3 anyway, and oh, then we have a problem. Or not. I thought we would hang this bishop on c5, but no, we can't. Yeah, because bishop f3 we start taking first, so I guess that's okay. Take, check, there, we take. Yeah, we're good. So I like this idea, take first, and no matter what he takes with, take the knight take. If he can't take with queen or with pawn, he's gonna lose the knight, so this is also very forcing. So I like this order. I didn't follow the chat, let me catch up. Take with pawn first, because if queen defense, you have rook attacking queen. Yeah, rook f8 attacks f3, bishop takes, then queen on g5. Yeah, that's the idea. And then queen, yeah, because he's still thinking what to do. Yeah, fe, de, bishop f3, rook d8, bishop e2, rook f8, says it ships. Yeah, but rook f8, I just take it with the other rook. And we're a piece up there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. And it's interesting because the other order seemed to work, but after queen takes, pawn takes, he can just go queen g4. I think that's the idea. Anyway, let's go. Might be wrong, so. Yay, 10 points. Not that hard, I was able to solve it. This puzzle sometimes very small details marked all the difference between one move order and other. For example, at first glance, this move order seemed okay. Bishop takes, he has to take, what else? He has to take with the queen because this allows queen g5. And after pawn takes, if he takes, we have queen g5. So this seems also winning. This seems okay. But I guess the idea here, if I'm not missing something, is queen g4. And I guess white has enough compensation with his bishops. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate this position for me because it seems good for black. Turn on the computer for queen g4. Okay, let's turn the engine on and see what it thinks about this position. -1 after e takes d3, king b1, knight f4, rook he1. Yeah, basically it's saying 2 pawns up, but only -1, so it's a lot of compensation. So the line it's giving is king b1, knight f4. I mean, I guess other moves also interesting, but the point is good pieces for white, and I guess these pawns are not going anywhere. They cannot be pushed for the moment. Okay, maybe we can dream about pushing this one, but it's gonna be stuck. So yeah, hard to evaluate this position. We're 2 pawns up, and we don't have the worst pieces in the world. If any, only this rook is sad. But it seems to be not enough. Luckily, the other line was clear, was clearly good. Okay, let's continue. It's not hard to evaluate, and Jim Bouton is right there. Rook a1 check. Okay, I guess I don't have a lot of options here. Okay, we're hitting a queen. That's good. So, what legal moves do I have? This one I think I will not bother considering. So basically king h2, which seems like a good move, or knight f1, which at defense stops attacking the queen. Yeah, knight f1 is a sad move to do. Probably not even a good one. At least he has a perpetual. No, he hasn't. Okay, because we're protecting d1. I thought there was some kind of perpetual after rook takes, bishop takes, queen g4, but no. Yeah, thinking h2 is so obvious that I shouldn't probably be calculating the other line, which is sad. So king h2. What can the problem be? Rook h1 maybe? Rook h1 is definitely a move to consider. But we can take with the king, and there's not a problem, right? Yeah, knight f1 is another option, Sadko. Knight f1 is an option. I mean, probably losing one. Probably losing one, right? Queen d4. Yeah, I don't know. Let's stick to king h2. King h2. Is there any other problem besides rook h1 immediately? Because bishop somewhere check, we take the queen, and there's no way he's gonna coordinate bishop and rook fast to checkmate us, especially with the knight on g3. So no, it's not on g3 anymore. Okay, never mind. There's no way. So king h2 seems logical, and I think rook h1 is the only move to consider. And I think we have to take with the king, and after bishop takes g2, we take it. So maybe we have to consider what happens after queen h4 instead. We take the bishop, and again, rook h1 is not enough. Oh, my laptop battery is going down. Give me a second. There we go. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go to h2. Only option here is h2. I mean, I don't like knight f1, but I think it's an option to consider. Anyway, I think king h2 should win. Queen moved away. Now, what if I just take the piece? What if I just take the piece with something? With the pawn, I would say. He's gonna attack f2, I guess. But we have queen takes b6 at least. Queen f6 is another way to attack the pawn. But in that case, rook d2. So after pawn takes b, yeah, I guess I'm gonna take with the pawn. It doesn't make sense to take with the king. Okay, rook a2, good. Then queen takes b6. He can take a pawn on f2, but we're gonna be winning. So queen takes b6 is a move. And then after queen f6, we could probably play... No, then we prevent queen f6. So queen f4, after queen f4, we play king g2. Queen takes b6, queen f4, king g2. That seems good enough. e4, queen e3. Queen e3 is a blunder. Oh, then e4. Okay. So queen takes b6, queen f4, king g2, e4. Yeah. Okay, I guess it's much better to avoid any... Oh, but I hand the rook there. Oh, no. Interesting. And if I start with the king, it's no good. Luis Ramos is following. Luis Ramos 1223. Thanks for the follow, mate. Okay, let's go over this line again. Queen takes b6 seems a logical move to do, because I don't like to move my knight to defend that pawn. Not now. It allows some nasty checks. I have no way to use the rook for the moment to do it. And king g2 doesn't quite help. And after queen here, king g2, e4. Maybe we still have something. I don't think sacrificing the knight is good, and knight h1 allows the check on f3 anyway, so why not queen f7, says Session. I guess after queen f7 he takes the rook. I don't think we're gonna win there. If only this pawn wasn't here. I don't think we can win there. I'm seeing king g1 now. Actually, the other way around, maybe. Queen takes b6, queen f4, king g1. Is that too much? The idea is then e4 will have no threat and we can go queen e3. And king g1, very interesting. And if he wants to check us, to push us to g2, then the rook is not going to be attacking the pawn on f2 anymore. So maybe king g1 after queen f4. So I guess I'm going to start with the obvious. I think it's much better to go take some b6 first than king g1 first, because this way black has less options. There's no queen f6, the king is still more or less safer on h2. Okay, let's start with this one. Oh, and the puzzle is solved. Okay. Yeah, but let me check with the computer, because I think after this, king g1 is better than king g2. Maybe king g2 is still good, but let's see what the engine thinks. Yeah, king g2 and king g1 both win. And after e4, let me see, king g2, e4. Oh, queen d4, just queen d4. Queen d4, and if queen f3, king g1. Simple. And there's no problem. He can never win f2, because to push our king to stop defending it, he has to stop attacking it. So yeah, and here we will have this. That's our threat. Okay, so both king g2 and king g1 were winning there. Okay, let me see for a second. Here someone asked about after knight f1 what happens with bishop takes g2, and I guess we just take it. And this might be the problem. No, cannot believe that's the problem. Where is the draw here? I guess bishop g2 doesn't work. Maybe queen e2 does work, though. Yeah, it seems scary. We can't take the bishop, and if we go here, he might take now, or he might just go here. We have to take the bishop now, and yeah, maybe this is just a draw, because, you know, if white has no checkmate threats. Yeah, let's have a look what the engine thinks about this. Actually, white is losing to queen g4. Queen g4, and yeah. The engine is giving rook h8, so let's see what happens after we defend the checkmate threat. Queen b7 or queen, let's say queen here. e4, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and we're toasted here. So yeah, knight f1 immediately losing. Okay, good. Let's continue. Okay, what a complicated position. It seems like Black's king is about to get checkmated. He has not a lot of squares to go to. So pawn takes pawn on b4 is my first idea that does not work. But we start with d4 check first, if any. So d4 check, pawn takes b4, mate. Is that a mate in 2? Is this a mate checkmate in 2? White to play and checkmate in 2? Or am I missing something? I think it's forced, right? There's no other moves, there's no other legal moves. I think this is just mate in 2. Yay! Nice one. Let's continue. Okay, this knight is tied to defend in this rook, but the rook is attacked, so not easy to just take it, for example, because he would just take a rook. Still, the rook would be hanging on d6, but he will have a check here, so it's not like we have time to go for bishop b7 or something like that, because there's rook check. However, after bishop takes, rook takes, knight takes, the bishop is hanging on c8. However, he has rook takes to defend it, so again, that probably doesn't work. How many points for that? 4 points. 4 points. Oh, it's a pity that I'm not showing the points. I thought I had a way to show the points. Give me a second. Give me a second. This is not it. This is not it. No, it seems I don't have a way to show to show the points. I would need to configure the software again. So never mind. I can tell you it's 4 points. Well, I can show it showing the full screen like this. But then the board is not so big for you, so may I do that from time to time. Okay, so if bishop c6 doesn't work, let's go for another forcing ideas, like what happens with rook takes rook, and then we take on b7. Rook takes, knight takes. Oh, knight b6. Okay, rook takes rook, knight takes. Yeah, he has to take its check. Knight b6, and that bishop is trapped, and we're protecting a8. So he has to give up the exchange. Well, he has to resign, basically. Well, he has to give up the exchange and then play that terrible position with both pieces defending b7, not for a long time, because rook d6 is going to be our follow-up. Then we wouldn't take on b7. Yeah, it's an exchange for a pawn. I'm not sure. Hey Shinhikari, what's up? Okay, you're giving this line. Rook takes, knight b6. Mary says rook takes, knight b3, which I guess it's the same line. Bishop takes b7, says Sadko. You got an extra pawn? Nope, I don't. We're a pawn down in the starting position. So yeah, rook takes, knight takes, bishop takes. He would just take, and then probably rook c6 or something, and Yeah. I guess that doesn't work, so I guess I have to go for the knight b6 idea. I think that should be winning, but it's an exchange for a pawn. So from a material point of view, it's not enough, but I think the position is highly good for a rook, with pawns both sides of the board, our bishop being better than his bishop. Rook clearly gonna dominate the knight. Maybe we can even win another pawn with just rook b5 next. Yeah. Okay, let's go there. Yeah. And, you know, both pieces are tied to defending this, but I think rook b5 will probably win another pawn next. So, yeah, it's going to be a full exchange up very soon. Good. Good. Let's continue. Queen a2. That's an attack. On the other hand, I see we're in a queenless position, and when I say queenless, I mean we don't have a queen. Our opponent, black, has a queen, so we better checkmate this guy. We better checkmate him. How to do it though? Check. Well, we're highly active. Like, for example, after this, we might even consider giving up the f7 knight, because we have also rook c7 ideas. So we're very active with all our 4 pieces very soon. However, I don't like that line. So probably after king g6, I would consider knight back to e5 check. Wait, what if I start with knight f4 threatening mate? There's a couple of options for black. Bishop takes knight 1. One of them. I want to look for a more forcing way. So let's go with this line. Check, king here, check. Let's say he has f6, f5, g5 or h5. Possibilities, a lot of them to consider. Trying to find a construction. For example, after king f6, rook f8, I don't like it, because then king e7, knight g6. Oh, maybe I like it. King d6. Yeah, almost there, but not quite. f4 is forced mate? What? f4 is forced mate, you say? What? No, I don't believe that. It's not possible. I don't know, what are you saying? Knight f4. Knight f4. Knight f4 is forced mate, you're saying. Okay, so let's consider knight f4. So I guess g5 is probably the answer I would consider, but let's go first for the obvious. We're threatening mate, so the obvious would be to take this knight, and I guess we can double rooks. And again, if he moves the... we have rook takes f7. So I guess bishop g8 then. And after rook takes rook, he pushes g5. I don't see a mate there. So I'm not even sure about bishop takes f7, and I'm definitely not sure about g5 first. I think neither of them lead to mate. Maybe I'm missing something, it's very likely. Knowing myself. I rather prefer to go for something more forcing. So start with this check again. I like the chances I have here to checkmate, but I still don't see a forced way. Yeah, knight f4 cannot be it. So I guess knight e5. But four options to consider. Okay, I'm gonna consider the four of them. Let's start with the easiest first. So I guess king h5, he has to be checkmated. Let's see how. At least knight check and knight takes bishop should be good enough. Should be good enough. I mean, rook and two knights for the queen, and that king so exposed should be mate, probably. He has to sack his queen, he says Mary. Knight f4, bishop f7, bishop g8, rook g8, g5. I don't see where does he sack the queen in that line, and I think g5 first could also be interesting. Anyway, let's continue with this line. So after this and this, h5 is clearly losing, I think. King g5, let's consider. Probably f4 will lead to the other lines in this line. So I would probably not consider that and consider only f5 and f6. King f5, probably rook f8. Rook f8, if king e4, rook f4, king d3, knight e5 check, king takes knight. No, that's too much. King f5, rook f8 check. He can go to g5, but again f4. So after king e4, maybe just start with rook e1. I mean, it has to be bad for him. He has queen a1, king h2, and queen d4. What? Two rooks and a knight against a lonely king. What? I'm not sure I follow you, Mary. Second move, knight f4. I consider that shares, but I'm not sure about giving up that knight on f7. After g5 we have knight h5. Yeah, but what if g5 first? What if g5 first? Knight f4, g5. Also, in the line you're saying, what's the deal with knight h5? After rook b7, for example? Knight f6. Okay. But he has checks. So, for example, can he defend f6 and g7 at the same time? No, he can't. Yes, he can, with queen takes d4. So, for example, that line you're giving, Colo, knight f4, bishop takes, rook c8, bishop g8 takes, g5, knight h5, queen a1 check, king h2, queen takes d4, defending f6 and g7. Rook g7 doesn't work, there's no knight f6. I mean, it feels dangerous, but on the other hand, he's threatening queen e5 check, winning the knight, and we don't have a clear follow-up, but to go rook h8, king g6, hitting the knight, there's no knight f4 check, so I think that doesn't work. Knight f4, bishop f7, rook c8, bishop g8, rook g8, g5, rook h8 check, king g7, h5 check. Rook h8 check first, and then knight h5 check, king f7, rook c7 check, king e6. That will be made somehow, I like that. But, I mean, if I start with rook h8 and knight e5, I think that will be made somehow also. And I think I'm gonna go for it, because yeah, I start to feel tired about this puzzle, and I want to move on. So yeah, I don't mind failing it. Okay, let's try knight f4. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Really? Okay, now let's try to understand it. So I guess he just escaped somehow after this, which honestly seems miraculous for black. But okay, let's try to see what happens in this knight f4 line. So I didn't like g5, but let's consider bishop f7 first. The idea was to threaten mate, makes sense. Bishop g8 first to stop it. Takes g5, knight here, and I thought queen check, queen here, defending both of them. And if check, king here, attacking the knight. Ah, there's this check still. And we can't take the knight because of this check. And we have to give up the queen, and we're going to be a rook down. So, okay, I didn't see that. But what about this? What about this? How does white win here? You can't go rook h8 because just queen takes h8. What? Yeah, that's true. So I guess white would try this maybe, and then black probably has a lot of checks. Or maybe not. But black is in time to defend. Yeah. Minus 14 points, Mary. So, okay, this is not so easy as it seems. Bishop takes f7. And also after g5, I'm not sure what to do because, for example, after knight h5, there's always the g6 escape square. So let's see what the engine says after knight f4. Oh, I'm seeing g5 might face knight takes bishop. And that might be a lot of material. Yeah. Okay, I guess bishop f7 then. Okay, the engine says bishop f7, rook cc8, and +3 now. +9, +10. Rook cc8, bishop g8, rook takes g8, and after g6. But okay, let's try g5. Rook h8 first, king g7, knight h5. That was Mary's line, right? King f7 or king g6, and rook c6 check. Oh, again the same trick. Okay, let's stop the engine. Mating 11, yeah. So yeah, the same trick. We can never take the knight because of g4, rook takes h6 mate. And once you realize that, you see the checkmate possibilities. Rook c6, very, very beautiful one. And so if we go back, it's more or less clear that we're going to be checkmated very soon. Check. And yeah, check on g7, mate on c8. So I guess this is the only move that makes sense. Trying to escape here. And at least this check should be good, although there's rook takes knight, probably still fighting. So how do we start here? Maybe rook here. Let's see what the engine thinks. Rook e8. Yeah, rook e8 is mating. Knight g3 is not winning. f3 is winning, but rook e8 is mating 7. Okay, so this is what we missed. To me, you can take the knight because just rook takes h6, no g4 needed. Yes, you're right. Yeah, rook e8. Of course, I missed rook e8 in this position. Okay, this was beautiful. There's no way to stop all the mating threats. The king has no moves here, and there's rook f6, rook e5, mates all over the place. Let's say, for example, check and take to try and stop both threats. I guess then g4. I'm sure I'm missing something here. Maybe f3 anyway. That would be funny. g4 and rook f6. Ah, yeah, of course, g4. I didn't realize the king can't move, so g4 forces queen takes, and then rook f6 is mate. Yeah. Knight f4. It smelled good, but we needed to go really deep into calculation, because we got... Okay, rook b8 is so stupid. Yeah, we saw the bishop g8 defensive idea, followed by g5, but we needed to go further to see that this is losing. It seemed okay, but... And here you can't go knight h5, that doesn't win. First rook h8 and then knight h5, and that does win. That was really hard to see. Okay, let's move on. We spent a lot of time in this puzzle to lose 14 points. Okay, let's try another one. So this reminds me of a game I played once. Very similar position. I think I started with bishop takes g6 in this kind of position. You know, to have checks then. The problem after bishop takes d6 is he might not take it. Okay, let's assume he's gonna take it. I mean, we have to consider moves like e5. Let's go with the complications later. Let's consider first the most straightforward line. Bishop g6, pawn takes g6, queen h6, bishop f8, right? What else? Bishop f8, queen takes check, bishop... okay, that's mate. That's easy. So bishop takes g6, he can't take it, I guess. Or maybe he can. And after king f6, no, he can't. King f7 leads to mate as well. d4 is the only chance. d4 and e5. So d4 and e5 will have to be played by black at some point. Your brain is going to explode, Mary? How's that? Okay, so he will play e5 and or d4 at some point. Anytime he does that, we can take it, so that's good news. And we can take it with the bishop to keep the threats. So the only reason to play e5 is to add a defender to g6, and the only reason to play d4 is to add an attacker to g2. So let's assume after we take and we go queen h6, he's gonna play e5 to defend g6. Then we take it, keeping the mate threat, and after bishop f8, we have bishop h7 check. No, the bishop is no longer there, it's a pawn, it's a black pawn, what am I saying? Oof. Maybe my brain is about to explode also. But we have queen h8 because the h7 pawn is gone. So that's good because we're not only threatening queen g7, also queen h8. And that has to be good. I mean, queen h8 followed by queen h7. If king e6, queen g6 wins the queen. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go for it. It's more or less... Okay, that was the other option, starting with this move. I said this earlier, but I didn't go back to this idea. So we have to choose here, because if we take on e5, he's gonna take on g6 with the queen. So the alternative is to just take the rook, which it's probably good. Taking the rook, and then we take on e5 with the bishop, so we still have some attack. I think that should be enough. I don't see any particularly interesting other idea like bishop h7. Yeah. It's interesting, but not a lot. And bishop f5 is stupid, because if we're gonna threaten a rook, then I prefer to take it immediately. Okay, that's good. 3 points. Okay, not so terrible. Yeah, let's see this line for a second. And now, well, of course, this is forced checkmate. And if this we take, still threatening mate, bishop f8, check, and we win the queen, I think. Bishop g7 only delays the problem. After king e6, we might even, instead of queen g6 that wins the queen, we might win the queen in different fashion, maybe looking for checkmates also. Maybe there's a forced checkmate here. Okay, never mind. Is that the sound of a Razer Black Widow? What? Where? Okay, rook takes f6. Okay, what do we have here? It's okay, my puzzle rating is 2339. I think it's more than we started with, which is good. I think I'm gonna stop at 2350. That's gonna be our goal. Okay, rook takes f6 is interesting. The idea is we cannot take it for obvious reasons. Bishop takes, rook g7, and then maybe queen h6, or bishop takes g7 followed by queen takes e8, both of them terrible for us. So we can't take it. On the other hand, if this rook moves again, he's gonna have queen takes h6 ideas. So it's gonna be annoying. We have a fork here. We have that's an interesting fork, because if we remove the bishop, then he no longer has a threat. What else do we have? Can we have a defense against his threats? Rook here is tempting, but probably terrible. Probably terrible. He takes it and moves the rook. White no threat here, so knight b3. Yeah, maybe you're right, for fun. I think the threat is to have a threat, so maybe you're right. The threat is to move this rook and have a threat. Actually, moves like rook e5 are really dangerous, because then g7 is going to be weaker. So rook f7 would be crushing. Yeah, knight b3 seems the only logical move. So what is white going to do? I guess saving the bishop, like bishop c3. We take the rook, he takes our knight, and then we still have one move to defend somehow. We're gonna be material up, but how do we defend? Still complicated. Still complicated. I think I can never go rook g8, and that's a problem. Maybe I can go maybe I can go king g8 and rook f7. Okay, maybe we can do that. Okay, so let's do it. And that's it. Yeah, and my point here is we don't have a good way to improve. I mean, I think we can still take it. That's one thing. The puzzle doesn't continue, but I think this is a very important moment where probably a lot of moves lose for black. But I think king g8, rook f7 is a good plan. We don't care about taking the rook, we only care about pushing those pieces out of our king. Yeah, this would be terrible, right? Queen takes h6, interesting. Bishop takes here, probably even at least a draw. At least a draw. So yeah, king g8 and rook f7. Let me see what the engine thinks, because if the puzzle stopped here, it probably means that black has more than one move here. So I'm interested in seeing what moves do we have here. Wow, queen takes a4 is the best move. No, king g8 is the best move now. And the only one that seems to have a clearly winning advantage. So the puzzle could have gone on for a while, because the second best move, rook d8, leads to minus 1.3, minus 1.4 now. So king g8 seems to be the only move here. Well, it's interesting. Okay, let's continue. Bishop f6. What do we have here? So we have some pressure on this line. Some pressure because this queen has no good squares. Some pressure to this knight maybe that has very few squares, or maybe only one. But this is a terrible bishop. How do we continue? I would love to add more attackers. More attackers. So, oh, queen h5. This is beautiful. Does this work? Queen h5, king h8, and we take and we win a piece. Wow, queen h5. Okay, two of you already said queen h5. For fun and Colo. On my screen, for fun is first, Colo. Yeah, queen h5 is a nice shot here. Because we're threatening queen takes h6, I think there's no time for black to save the piece. We're winning a piece. Queen h5. What will black do? I think king h8 and lose the piece, but if it's gonna do that, maybe he just takes the queen and keeps the pawn structure intact. Anyway, that has to be it. I mean, yeah. Nice one. +4. 2349. I need to continue. One more puzzle. Beautiful one. Okay, here. Hey Mary. Welcome back. I think if we solve this one, I achieved my goal of 2350, so this might be the last one. We can take a piece on f6, so that's probably the first question to ask. Why don't we just take the piece? What can possibly be the problem? I mean, there's the alternative to take with the rook, so we're gonna have some checkmate ideas then. But what could the problem be with bishop takes knight? Can he attack a rook somehow? Like queen c7 or queen c5? Queen c7, sorry, to prevent bishop e7. Yeah, so bishop takes f6, I guess queen c7, c5, queen takes c5, bishop e7. I don't know. He has no checkmate threats, so... Oh, it's easier than that. Yeah, bishop f6, bishop f6. And then rook f6, queen d8. Queen d8, yeah. And a rook is trapped there. And there's no way to defend it. I mean, there's a way to give up a piece, so we lose a piece, not a rook. Knight takes e5, queen takes f6, knight e7, we win the exchange back. And it should be a draw, I think. It should be a draw. But yeah, then I take with the rook. Then it's clear, crystal clear, that one, right? Yes, 8 points, wow. So, if queen c7, just bishop takes g7. No, okay, anyway, after bishop f6, I think the best is this, of course. But, yeah, in the first place, I was scared about this. And yeah, you're right, we have this, and we're going to be a piece up. You're right. But yeah, this is a problem. And I think we can still draw with knight takes e5 probably. And this should be equal. We're a pawn up still. But yeah, after this, we're good in material. This is hanging. There's, well, not that, but there's ideas of checkmates. That was not that hard, was it? Yeah, it wasn't that hard. Anyway, I achieved the goal. And how's the time? Is it 1 hour and a half, maybe? 1 hour and 24 minutes. Yeah, we can maybe keep it going for another half an hour. Let's set a new goal at 2400. 2400 is too far away. And because I start to feel tired, I'm expecting to fail more. But okay, let's continue for a while. Okay, bishop d5, trying to defend, makes sense. I would love to bring a rook here. So a very sneaky move could be queen h4, but it might also be a very slow move. That's a problem. Hey RMTF, what's up? Yeah, queen h4 is so slow, so stupidly slow. So the thing is, whenever this bishop moves, rook takes d4 is for take. The problem is after bishop d2, he attacks our queen, so it's hard to take. But if I have to move my queen first, then yeah. But what about just giving up the exchange there to go for a mate after rook takes d5? There's rook g5. That's a pro. No, rook e6. That's interesting because if rook g5, I might have rook h6, f3, and rook takes e2 is going to be check, so I take the queen. Aha. That's good. So rook takes d5, rook takes rook e6 is really strong. If rook g5 doesn't work, my idea after f5 was rook e4, but maybe just rook h6 anyway. And in this line, it's even worse for white because the rook on d5 is going to be a peril. Yeah, I like it. I like rook takes. I like rook takes d5. I like it a lot. I think that has to be the solution. What are you saying? Rook d6. Yeah, the problem with rook d6, bishop g2, I don't know how to continue. And someone is saying bishop f7 even, followed by queen c4. Yeah, that's another option. I think I'm gonna go for this line. Okay, see? This is what happens when I'm tired. I can't spend 20 minutes in a puzzle. I'm anxious. Now it's it's already a long way back to the 2350. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do a last effort to go back to the 2350. But after that, I'm gonna stop. If and when I reach 2350, which I'm not sure to be able to do. Okay, let's move on. I don't want to spend more time on this one. Rook a5. What do we have here? Rook e8. Okay, rook e8, threatening the rook. And the idea is after rook takes b6, I have knight takes c4. Maybe not so good because rook b7. I have d3 also as an idea. So maybe after rook b7 I take the rook, he takes my rook, d3, and the a6 pawn is dangerous, but I'm gonna be a piece up. Oh no, I trade on b7. What am I saying? Yeah, I trade on b7. So rook e8. If rook takes, knight takes, rook b7, I just take the rook on b7, and the rook on a5 is hanging. Yeah. So instead of that, what can he do here? If he moves this rook to defend the pawn, let's say. Okay, we have no d3. We have no d3, but we might have b5, or we might double rooks and then a7. Yeah, I'm not sure because we're not checkmating. Puzzles are exhausting, and losing 20 points and winning one makes it even more painful. Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to stop once the goal was reached. Yeah, I think it has to be rook e8 because I don't see any other options. But I'm worried I'm gonna play it fast as the previous one. So I said I was going to do a final effort, so let's do the effort. Let's calculate it correctly. Rook e8. So rook e8. Rook takes b6 cannot work. Knight c4 seems good enough. We threaten both rooks. Rook b7 doesn't work, and d3 is coming. So he has to move the rook from a5. If he moves it somewhere else than a4, we're gonna take on c4. That has to be great for us. So rook a4 is the only logical follow-up. And then b5, pawn takes b5, c4, b6, d3. You are saying d3 first? How could d3 be the move? I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. What's the deal with d3? If I do d3 first, bishop takes d3, and what is the follow-up? Ah, rook check, and we take the rook. Yeah, that's right. So d3 wins a piece immediately. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, d3 wins a piece. And white has no threats because we keep b6 defended. That's nice. That's nice. That seems winning. So now what I'm wondering is why isn't the other line working? Because rook here threatens the rook. And after rook a4, okay, maybe it's a mess. After b5 takes c4, b6, maybe that's a mess. But d3 seems to win the piece, huh? d3, bishop takes, we have check. And if rook takes, of course, we take the rook. So d3, and next move is pawn takes bishop, because the bishop can't move without allowing check. So, okay, I think it's easy. I think it's, once you see it, once I saw the chat, once you see the move, it's easy. There's nothing white can do, right? It's very simple. Yeah. Okay, but this was really tempting. I have to say, this was really tempting. Grantismo says rook takes b6, but I think rook takes b6 failed to this. Maybe it's still a mess, but we're threatening d3, we're threatening both rooks. Rook b7 doesn't work because it loses a rook to rook takes b7. So yeah, I don't think rook takes b6 works. I thought rook a4 was the only move, you know, getting out of the attack and defending this, and still defending this. But then maybe it's a mess. Maybe it's not so easy to continue here. I thought b5 takes and c4, but maybe b6 is a mess. It is a mess with these pawns here. And if we double first, like here, he has a7. Maybe. a7, maybe. Yeah, I think a7. And we have no way, I mean, we can take a bishop with check, which is nice, but we have no way to avoid losing a rook there after that. So maybe instead of taking the bishop, we have to go here, and then rook takes b6. And now it's not clear anymore, because d3, rook b8 check. So yeah, what seemed so nice, it wasn't. Anyway, 2347 now. We're 3 points behind. So let's see if by solving the next one we achieve our goal. This is the kind of endgame I like. Okay, so he has no interest in checks, I guess. I mean, there's this move that we have to be aware of. So first ideas are rook b7 and rook f4, of course, because we have a ping. And as Ben Feingold would say, when you have a ping, when I think there's a wrestling move that is called a ping as well, when you immobilize someone in the floor, and when you're pinning someone, you call your friends. That's what Ben Feingold says. So you call your friends to punch the guy. So rook b7 and rook f4 are the first moves I would consider. What's the point of any of those? So the attacking idea is exactly the same. The advantages of rook f4 is it cuts the king a little bit more. I don't know if that's good for any reason. The advantages of rook b7 is the rooks are still defending each other, so they're not hanging to tricks and checks. I guess rook f4 prevents rook f2. So maybe after rook b7, rook f2 is good. I missed that one. Yeah. Rook b7, rook f2, and he's in time. He's in time because after rook takes, we have no rook f1, we have no rook b7, we're not winning anything. So let's start with rook f4 and see why wouldn't that work. Black has no checks besides the check on g2. That might be annoying, actually. Well, that check on g2 is a pain in the ass. Maybe after the check, I have to consider king h1. But let's first consider taking the rook. Leo is saying queen a2, but I was concerned about queen e2. I mean, queen a2 check, yeah, it takes the rook, but maybe we checkmate our opponent. Maybe not. But we're gonna take a rook as well, and we're gonna be a rook up. So what I'm concerned about after king takes g2 is queen e2 check. Queen e2 check, it's really annoying because the rook is pinned on f7, but it's helping a lot to the queen. So we can never put a rook in front, and it's gonna be hard to escape from the checks. Like king up, there's queen e3 check. So we probably have to go down. Queen, with the rook on f4, we might have queen h1, king to h1. Okay. After queen e2 check, king h1, and there are no checks. There are no checks, and rook g1 is coming. In case his queen could be able to defend the rook on f7, which he can't. Okay, so I guess queen e2 is not so terrible, because we have queen h1, that's a simple one. And after queen a2, which you mentioned, let's see what happens. After queen a2 check, king has to move somewhere where we're not going to be checked after queen takes b1, so let's put it on not an easy one, not an easy one either. Maybe not so hard. King g3, let's say. King g3. So after queen a3 check, what else? No other checks. I mean h4 check, but there's no queen f2 then. So queen a3 check, king h4. Yeah, he runs out of checks. So I guess I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Yes. We're the best. We're the best. So here's what I thought. If h4 or queen a3, we go to h4 with the king, and there are no more checks. Here there are no more checks. Oopsie. So the rook is pinned, by the way, of course. And yeah, if he takes, I mean, we might be checkmating or maybe not, but rook up. I would probably even consider taking with the rook, so any check will be replied with a check. So, or maybe not. Okay, maybe this is a way to lose, actually. I didn't see this one. Okay, so taking with the rook is problematic, because this queen g5 mate, and if we go here, he takes a rook. So we definitely have to take with the queen here. And of course this allows queen takes h5, so he has to go here, but queen takes e6, yeah, and at least we trade queens. Or here. So yeah, it would be easy. Yeah, at first I was concerned about this check because he has a lot of checks. We can never put our rook in the middle, but king h1, beautiful. Let me see what the engine thinks about this position. Is there any other winning move like king g3? No, king h1 is the only winning move, and all the others lose, actually. They lose. Yeah, of course, because we lose this rook. Okay, good. King h1, good enough. Okay, guys, goal achieved. It's time to stop doing tactics. But I will not stop doing chess, however. So I'm tired to do more tactics, but let's play some chess. Let's play some games. Let's see if there's any thematic interesting tournament. Sicilian defense. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to stop the stream now, and I'm going to start a new stream to play, to learn some Sicilian defense. Accelerated Dragon. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Copy. I'm gonna put that in the title of the stream, and I guess we have. This is the 5 minutes tournament. Then I guess we have the Rapid. Yeah. So we're gonna have a couple of tournaments with this. Why not just change the title? Because we have videos under the videos section, each one with one title. So I want to have separate videos, so anyone that watches this later in the future, they have a video for the tactics and then a video for the learning the Sicilian stream. So yeah, it's gonna be just a minute. I will stop and start it again. So I'll be right back. Just wait a minute.